Rosy,
How you doing, Tom?
how you going?
Really well, really well.
Rosie.
Whatever day of the week it is, yeah.
So Rosie, of course, many of you have seen Rosie before online with me, but most of the times she's not online. She's busy in a classroom setting or travelling around the countryside, helping real estate agents stay out of jail by meeting their requirements. And Rosie, I'm booked in myself, but I also, Susan thought, because it has got confusing. There's been so many changes, and Susan even said to me, she was reading it all and she's saying, look, it is rather confusing, these changes that have been made. This class one, class two. Can I just, for the context that we're talking today, Rosie, can I just confirm, by the way, everyone, Rosie is the principal of the Australian College of Professionals, which is located in Sydney, and I attended their 20-year anniversary late last year. If I can recall, you picked a beautiful venue there in, I think it was the Ivy?
Yeah, it was the Ivy.
It was the Ivy. You picked a beautiful venue. You had beautiful food there. 2 decades you've been helping real estate people get into the industry and stay in the industry
and stay compliant and out of trouble.
Yeah.
That's our aim.
20 years, Rosie.
Yes, been doing it for a bit longer, but 21 years now doing it as the Australian College of Professionals. So, yeah.
Look, there is no financial, by the way, everyone, there is no financial relationship with myself and this organisation. Yes, I'm a student there and I encourage people. And I've got to tell you, Rosie, I get the online learning, but I have to say to you, even I try and avoid classrooms because a lot of the times I'm in classrooms, on the other side, right? On the teaching side. So I avoid it. And I always think to myself, I'll just go online. But you've got some great people that have worked in the industry that are actually the teachers. The one I'm thinking of course, is Michael Carolyn.
Indeed.
He's still there with you, I hope.
Absolutely. Isn't he? Well, he's wandering off visiting grandchildren in Europe at the moment, but he'll be back next week.
Okay.
So
Rosie, let's talk about can I just confirm this is today's session is mainly for New South Wales. Can I confirm?
It is. It's just the CPD requirements for New South Wales. Queensland are getting mandatory CPD next year. ACT's already got it. Western Australia's got it in a sense. And, the other states, I guess one day they'll all have mandatory. But these are just the requirements for New South Wales.
Okay.
So because they've changed yet again. They change every year.
Okay. Can you explain to me, before we kick it off, what's the difference between class one and class two? That's the one that keeps coming up with people before we move on to anything.
Okay, really simple. Both of them are licensed, so they're both licensed agents. However, class one, you can run an agency, you can be an independent contractor, or you can be a reserve licensee in charge. So you can, if the licensee's away, you can take their position whilst they're away. And then everybody else, if you never want to run your own business, if you never want to be a licensee in charge, then you stay as a class two. Pretty simple.
So class two allows you to be a
fully licensed agent.
A fully licensed agent. Now, I had someone ask me this morning, actually, it's good that you're on here. They asked me, they said, can you be a class two license holder and be a contractor at a real estate office?
No.
You can't. Okay.
It's simple. Section 28 of the Property and Stock Act tells you that if you are running a business, you must have a class one license. And if you are an independent contractor, you are running your own business within somebody else's business. Therefore, fair trading are really straight down the line on it. You're an independent contractor, you've got to have a class one.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, do both class one and class two people need to do mandatory CPD points?
They do. We'll leave the assistant agents off to the side because their CPD is quite different. They have to, work towards getting their license. That's them done. Class one and class two, they're in one bundle together. For a few years there, they were separated, but they're back in as one bundle. Okay, so the changes that have happened this year. One, the CPD year has changed. We've gone off that stupid March to March thing and we're back into financial year. Okay, so it's 1st of July through to the 30th of June. So we're currently in the CPD year. 1 month of it has gone.
Okay, so let's confirm. So what happened is the old dates were March to March, off the top of my head, the 22nd of March or thereabouts.
23rd of March through to the 22nd of March. That was CPD year for 4 years.
Okay, for 4 years that was, correct? Yeah. Okay, and then this year they've turned around and they've said it's, did you say financial year or June?
Financial year. Financial year. So it's July 1st through to 30th of June.
Okay, and can I ask, what if someone was an April or May person and they were in the between?
We've got to get over where we used to be, Tom. It's got nothing to do with when you renew your license.
Right.
Which was, we got CPD in 2003 and right up to 2020, we had to have our CP done by our renewal date.
Right.
So that left in 2020 and it became the March to March issue. Yes. Now it's changed again and now it's the July to June financial year.
Okay.
When you renew your license, so if you're renewing your license in April or, I always remember my license renewal was Halloween. So, it's got nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with when I renew. It's just about I have to do it within that year. Okay. Mind you, when I renew, because you can take a 1 year, a 3 year, or a 5 year license. It's CPD is no longer about when you renew. It's about the year, and that's it.
So, July 1, we're now 40 days into the new financial year.
Yes,
and people are doing their CPD points between July 1 and June 30, 2025 for that financial year. How many points do Class 1 and Class 2 people need to get?
It's not about points anymore. It's about hours. So it's changed again from last year. Last year was 4 hours. This year it's 5 hours. Fair Trading have been very specific this year and really detailed about the topics and what needs to be covered in those topics. So if you were in the majority of, your gym members and followers are salespeople.
Yes.
And they have to do, there's 3 set topics that they need to cover in that. There's some WHS, there's some understanding strata and selling off the, which comes into selling off the plan and a few things there, and the new supervision guidelines. So that's a 5 hour topic.
Okay, so there's 5 hours there, and it makes no difference if you're a principal or if you're a salesperson.
Doesn't matter.
Doing the same. I am going to let you know, I often do have BDMs and property managers that, not a lot, but they look, should they be doing the same one or not?
Look, well, they can do whichever one they choose, but we offer one specific for residential property management and one specific for residential sales. So, you've got to sit there for 5 hours, whether you're doing it as a webinar or whether you're doing it in face-to-face. So it may as well be useful to what you do. So if you do residential property management, then do that course. If you do commercial sales and leasing, then do that one. So because the trainer standing out the front will make it relevant for that topic.
Okay, so
that's the same topics, but examples will be different.
So that one's gone from 4 hours to 5 hours.
Correct.
And the Australian College of Professionals have got one of those courses for 5 hours.
We've got hundreds of those courses scheduled in between now and the 30th of June next year. And whether you choose face-to-face or whether you choose interactive webinar, it's either way. If you think I'm going to take the online option, it goes from 5 hours to 10 hours.
Right.
So because that's a fair trading requirement, they're saying anybody who chooses to do it online, they don't think that that's the best way to do CPD. Therefore, they've doubled the number of hours that you have to do. So, and they're just other related topics. So
Rosy, so I'm clear.
I've got one extra add-on after that, but yeah. So this is the first. That's not it.
It's not it. Okay, keep going.
There's another new one, and this is the bit that's confusing everybody. And you're getting calls, Susan's getting calls, we're being inundated with calls. Every licensed agent got a letter from Fair Trading about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And confused the daylights out of everybody, probably because not everybody fully read it. But what it said was, if you at any point in the year undertake anything to do with residential sales, then you have to do an additional online seminar through the TAFE portal on underquoting and price representation. So it's an additional. So if you're a property manager, this isn't about what type of license you've got. So it's not all real estate license holders or it is only if you are a residential salesperson, and it's only conducted by TAFE. So, and it's through their portal, and I've done it. I did it earlier this week on Monday, and it's about an hour and a half.
It's an hour and a half, and it's done by the TAFEs.
Yeah.
And Susan's put the URL there. Thank you, Susan. Susan, while you put that URL there, I'd also put Rosy's URL to complete the 5 hours, which is mandatory. So essentially, what you're saying for this financial year, it's 5 hours plus the underquoting and price misrepresentation, 1 or 1.5 hour session that you need to complete. Is that correct?
That's correct. So, but only if you're in residential sales. If you do commercial sales, you just do your 5 hours. If you do property management, just your 5 hours. If you're stock and station, just your 5 hours. But if you do anything to do with residential sales, you've got to do this extra one. It's absolutely in addition. And even if you choose online and you do your 10 hours online, it's on top of your 10 hours.
Okay. Rosy, I occasionally get asked by a few people, particularly the fact that I go to ARIC as a MC and host, so they see me as, he must know the answers. They'll say, Tom, listen, I'm not going to do. I don't do CPD points. I went to ARIC, right? It's not enough, is it?
No, they cut that ability out about a year and a half ago, because one, you have to be an approved CPD provider by Fair Trading, which obviously we are. And on top of that, we can only have a maximum of 40 people in a face-to-face class and a maximum of 25 people in an interactive webinar. So there's one or two more than 40 people at ARIC, and just a couple. And so, it doesn't fit for that. And also, you're not it's not an approved CPD provider from Fair Trading.
Rosy, just roughly, the people that you deal with, what percentage you reckon do face-to-face versus what percentage do online?
Look, the online went down considerably last year when Fair Trading said it had to be 10 hours.
Right.
So, it's gone down to, I reckon, about 3% are doing online. And then the rest of them, the breakup between face-to-face and webinar is probably about 60-40, 60% doing face-to-face. Because we go to all the regional towns.
They don't have to come into town hall where you're at?
No, we go everywhere. So, I've got a course in Castle Hill next week. I've got a course in Newcastle next week. I've got one in here next week. I've got a couple of webinars next week.
Are they open courses or they're private courses first?
No, they're all public ones. We've got lots of in-house ones that we just go and do with specific companies. But we're all over. We're up in, I was just talking to someone about a course up in Ballina. We do Ballina, Tamworth, Dubbo, Orange, Mudgee, Albury, Griffith, Wagga, you name it.
And I also know my clients rave about you, Rosy, and rave about your business. I mean, the list, it's an endless list, all the way from the Northern Beaches, the Novaks, all the way to Tuck Brownlee.
Yes.
On the New South Wales border. I was just talking to him yesterday doing training. They rave about you, but some of these bigger firms, I've just remembered, you actually, put on the day if it's a very big real estate company, like
absolutely. We go in-house,
and tailor it for.
Yeah, absolutely. And our examples start out of, give me a file. Let's have a look at a file that's causing you grief. Let's have a look at that and relate the content back to what's actually real for you. So, and any of our trainers here do that. Just, give us a file. Let's make it relevant.
Now, Rosy, selfishly, I'm asking, as an auctioneer, what do they do differently now? Anything? Are they brought into this?
Yeah, absolutely. You've always had to do, because you've got hold a real estate license as an auctioneer, you've got to do your 5 hours.
Yeah.
And because you're selling residential property, you've got to do your TAFE module as well.
Okay. Is there any other things that auctioneers have to do additionally? Because on the certificates it says auctioneer as well. Or is
But that's auctioneer is not a category of license. Auctioneer is an accreditation on your license.
right?
Therefore, it's not an additional license category. So if you're a real estate agent and a stock and station agent, yes, you have to do some extra topics, and we package that up into an additional 2 hours. Or if you're a strata agent, that's an additional 2 hours. So, however, if you're just a strata agent, you just got to do 5 hours. If you're just a stock and station now, but if you've got more than one license category, as many people do, it's the 5 hours plus an add-on. Plus, if you do residential sales, it's the TAFE course as well. So there's a fair bit to get their head around. But anyone who doesn't understand that can either ring or send an email into us, and anyone who picks up the phone can talk them through, look them up on the Fair Trading site, see exactly what they've got, and tell them exactly what they need to do. So
what is that phone number, Rosie?
1300 88 48 10.
1300 88
48 10.
10. Thank you, Susan.
That's it on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that. I think you run your business where everyone is multi-skilled. It's not one of these things. I know they can all sort of they all seem to know the answers there.
They do, and certainly around CPD, they get it. They know how to look up the Fair Trading Public Register, see your name on there, and go, okay, these are the licenses you've got, and tell you exactly what you need to do to be compliant. So they all know that.
Rosie, just off CPD before we finish off here today.
Yeah, cool.
Fastest way for a real estate agent, or for someone to get a real estate license. Do you do license courses?
We do the whole lot. We start from
CPD.
Yeah, CPD, that's just an add-on really for us.
Right.
Licensing and qualifications are our gig. We start, I've got a face-to-face entry-level certificate of registration course running here this week.
Right.
So that's the entry level. The minimum time it can take you to move from being an assistant agent to a class 2 is 1 year. The maximum you can sit on an assistant agent authority is 4 years, but minimum time you're looking at fastest, it's 1 year. So they've got to do their course, they've got to get their experience, they get their work experience logbook signed off by their licensee in charge, they make application for a class 2 license. Done. They then, if they want to move on to be a class 1 license and actually open their own office, they need to work under a class 1 license holder for a minimum of 2 years and complete another course, which is the Diploma of Property. So obviously, which we also run. So, and I like to, people go, oh, another course. You know what? The diploma course is about management. The certificate 4 to get your class 2 license is about the doing. So there's lots of scenarios and agency forms to fill in. The management level course is about concepts. So it's actually easier.
Rosie, how long does it take to do the certificate course?
Well, we offer it online, or let's just do the comparison. If you came to class, it's 4 days. And then, so today they're in their last day of their course this week. And then they've got a take-home assessment, which, there's a fair amount to be assessed. So, there's another few days worth of work in that. They can get themselves in a good week's worth of work. And I'm talking about a week as in 7 days. And it depends on how well they've got to go and interview a living, breathing real estate agent and get some insight there and do some projects. So there's a little bit of work too, because you don't want them to come in and cause you problems if you're the licensee in charge. You want them to come in and be able to hit the ground running, and then you as a licensee in charge can teach them the reality. We teach them the theory and what will keep them safe and keep their licensee in charge safe. And then their licensee in charge and people like yourself will teach them the skills of getting out there and being successful.
And Rosie, the diploma in real estate.
Yes.
The format, is that online or is that face-to-face?
It's mostly online. Sometimes I do it in-house. I'm doing a couple at the moment in-house where we do webinars. Another company, I'm doing it in-house, in person. But yeah, it's really easily done online. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it online, but it's a really easy one.
Hello?
Look, it depends on how much effort you're going to put into it. Each one's going to take you a few days. So, and there's 12 units. So, but you've got 2 years. From when you get your Class 2 license, it takes you can't apply for your Class 1 for 2 years. So, you have to hold that. So if you did one of these modules every 2 months, so not putting into fact that you're working, your license, which means you should be working at a pretty high level, and you've got a life at somewhere in amongst being, a real estate person, you might have a life, and and this is just the study. So if you did one every month, every couple of months, you're done.
Well, listen, I mean, a lot of people are always, throwing their 20 cents worth, and a lot of the times, they're critical about the changes and, why are we doing this? But I'm thinking about this pathway now, an assisting agent, then taking time to becoming a sales agent, getting your certificate, and then it's actually, I can see it probably is a better foundation for someone at the end, because I remember, I mean, I've been in real estate now for 40 years, but back then, Rosie, you turn around and you'd look at the fast path. What's the fastest way? Doesn't matter whether I learn anything. Yeah. What's the fastest way I can get this real estate license? And you could go off, and there was some of these, places.
And Tom, they're still there. So, in terms of the actual effort you put in, but you come out with no learning. You come out without the ability. You want to get out there and you want to actually be able to list and sell a property or manage a property, and you want to be able to do it well. You don't need complaints. You don't need people making claims on your commission. You need to know what you're doing. I mean, you're supposed to be a professional. Then behave as one and learn as one is what I would say. I mean, remember back pre-2003, Tom, if you wanted a real estate license, you had to have worked in the industry for 2 years, done your course, and then you made your application.
Yeah.
And you had to get signed off. I think it was called an old 22E certificate.
Yes,
so
correct.
Now we're back to 1 year of experience, do your course, and get a work experience logbook. Look at that, big round circle. We're back to where we were pre-2003. And I agree with you, not a bad thing. It's always worried me from that period from 2003 to 2020. Somebody could come in, get their license as quickly as they could possibly get through all the modules, and walk out there and put their shingle up, run an agency, and they're responsible for people's trust money. They're responsible for selling and managing people's huge assets. So I think now with that minimum time is 3 years, 1 year as an assistant agent, 2 years as a Class 2, minimum from start to being able to put your shingle out, 3 years.
Yeah. Listen, it sounds like, Rosie, it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. If you want to be in property, you've got something for them no matter where they're at.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. We cover all the angles, all the different functions. And I set this business up to focus on the individual. So, because no two people are the same. They bring different things to the table. They bring, so we look at what their past experience is, and everybody's an individual. So somebody might say, well, my mate didn't have to do that. No, well, they didn't, but you don't have the same life experiences. So, yeah.
Rosie, thank you so much. I really
Absolute pleasure.
I want to confirm the correct details for Rosie at the Australian College of Professionals. The URL is both in the comment section on Facebook and in the chat there at Zoom. In addition to that, if you're a person that likes to talk to people, 1300 88 4810. 1300 88 4810. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thanks, Tom. Great to see you. Good afternoon.